when he suddenly jolts upright in bed and immediately regrets it as a sharp pain. Tears through his chest and folds him forward, coughing. Then a voice nearby, raspy from disuse, tells him he is finally awake. When he turns, he sees a square-faced man in his late 30s sitting on a stool, looking instantly familiar. Even though he has never actually laid eyes on him before, "Captain Chin," he blurts. And only then does he notice the white walls and realize he is in a hospital. The man corrects him with a faint smile, telling him to just call him uncle, and says his chest was caved in by an iron fur bore, his internal organs ruptured, making it a miracle he even pulled through. He quickly catches himself, swapping the address to Uncle Chin, and asks how long he was out. 3 days. He was rushed here and resuscitated, and doctors say since he woke up now, his life is finally out of danger. But Uncle Chin's expression suddenly turns stern. He says the boy's swordsmanship drills were fine, but in real combat he froze. He froze like a fool and let a monster boar ram straight through his chest. Chin admits he would have no way to face the boy's deceased father now. He stands up to fetch a doctor, adding that during his recovery, he should think seriously about whether the martial path actually suits him. Maybe an ordinary, peaceful life is better. The young man offers no answer, only watching Chin's back until the door shuts before letting out a long sigh. He sinks back into the pillow. He is not the Chen Yuan this man raised. In his own world, he was just up late reading a novel. In a flash, he opened his eyes to a charging boar. The body's original soul vanished. The exact moment he arrived, leaving him with all these memories but no feelings. Uncle Chin is a stranger in everything but recall. This new body is a 19-year-old intermediate warrior of roughly 2,000 kilograms, 3 months past awakening. And this world, as the electronic clock on the wall clearly confirms, is the swallowed star world on September 13, 2077. A land of monsters, martial artists, Hong, Thunder God, and Luo Feng. And trust me, finding out you transmigrated years too late is an absolute nightmare. The genius battle is years behind them, and Luo Feng has already risen. He is likely inside Primordial Chaos City now, leaving no giant thigh to hug. His predecessor was pretty unlucky too. An intermediate warrior should have won against an elementary beast soldier, but he transmigrated at the worst moment. Right when the boy moved to finish the boar, he took over. He remembers a single instinctive sword thrust before everything went completely dark. Whether he killed it or his team did, his soul fused perfectly. The body's reflexes obey him easily, making it feel like remembering a past life. He runs through the boy's memories. His mother died when he was young. His father, Chen Jai, raised him alone until he was 13 years old. Then Chen Jai died covering a retreat during a beast tide. Entrusting his son to Qin Zhan before he fell, Qin Zhan kept that promise to the absolute letter. When the boy insisted on living alone, Qin Zhan moved his entire family next door to watch over him. He did this for 6 years. They are close, so he must play the part of a quiet, withdrawn boy to keep his secret safe. Leaves the harder question: settle down quietly or reach for the stars. He would choose the stars in a heartbeat, but his own aptitude is pretty mediocre, thanks to Luo Feng, bringing purple light due back from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire. Any advanced dojo student can now buy their way to warrior level, and his predecessor did exactly that. So a 19-year-old warrior sounds impressive, but really, he is just an average advanced student dressed up by Do, a month of 5 hearts towards the sky to sense cosmic energy, first absorption only yielding 400 kilograms, followed by 2 months of grinding to crawl past 2,000. At this rate, he will not even cross the planetary level before old age catches him, and below planetary, the lifespan cap is at best 1 or 2 centuries. Break through, and he lives 1,000 years. That alone is reason enough to push, and in the universe's other nations, anyone below planetary has no human rights and can be taken as a Slave, Earth only grants off-world travel to planetary-level Earth elites. To break the deadlock, he needs to cheat. As if on cue, a soft beep chimes inside. His skull and his head snaps around looking for the source before he realizes. It came from within. He calls out system in his heart and gets another beep in. Answer, he ransacks every trophy word he can think of. Panel, open, expand. Mission, level up, and a translucent light screen unfurls in front of his eyes. The door opens before he can study it. Song Jun has returned with the attending physician, and he flinches the panel shut, cooperating with the examination as the doctor tells them that his organs need at least 3 months of light diet and no strenuous exercise. Staying in the hospital is safer, but discharge is possible if they accept the risk. Song Jun chooses to stay. After the doctor leaves, he tells him to rest while he handles fees and brings lunch. From the cafeteria, he thanks him, and as soon as the door shuts, the room falls quiet enough for him to call the panel back up. It is plain, almost modest. Name, age, strength, 2010 kilograms, second stage apprentice, secret techniques, 5 hearts towards the sky D, and spiritual wind sword technique. Guiding technique, force exertion 0.9, current optimizable item set to secret technique, and 3 points of something called energy. After a bit of poking, he learns the panel is only a readout, not a lock. His force level visibly drifts between 0.8 and 0.9 as his injured body shifts, and the panel neither anchors stats nor influences reality, but the display content is customizable. He renames energy to slaughter points after realizing it is earned from kills, and the word on the panel obediently changes. He reimagines the whole thing with more detail, and it obliges. Hibernation data aside, the 5 hearts line now reads Type D, 63% proficient. Spiritual wind reads Combat Type C, beginner 37%. With sub-percentages for sword, movement, guiding, force level 0.89. Slaughter points 3, then he turns to the optimization line. He selects 5 hearts towards the sky, specifying improved cosmic energy absorption efficiency and cell absorption limit, and the panel responds with an estimated 200 point cost. He only has 3. On a hunch, he tries again, this time telling the system to discard universality and optimize for him alone. The cost drops to 2 of any basic technique written for everyone has to be broadly compatible, which costs energy. Rewriting it specifically to fit his body cuts that cost to a hundredth. He confirms immediately. 3-hour timer. Song Jun brings his lunch during it and leaves again. He dozes through the remainder, and when the countdown ends, the panel announces that 5 hearts towards the sky has been optimized into hibernation method, crystal meditation, and invites him to expand the details. He reads them and his pupils tighten. The technique has him visualize an impurity-clouded crystal and clear it breath by breath until his mind becomes as limpid as glass, at which point he slips into deep sleep that greatly boosts physical recovery, slowly strengthens the body, and improves both cosmic energy absorption efficiency and cell absorption limit. Deep sleep. Because 5 hearts towards the sky works by calming the mind into a still lake, and deep sleep is the cleanest way in. This isn't a hibernation method at all. This is the crystal meditation method from Star River Emperor. If the system can optimize even across novels, the ceiling is terrifying. He tests it immediately. Dragonless heart technique, and every aptitude buffing fantasy technique he can think of all return, unable to optimize, only when he drops down to Washia, trying to optimize 5 hearts into an aptitude improver using Tendon's transformation classic as a template. Does the answer change? Incorrect carrier, insufficient data, not impossible, just needing a correct carrier secret technique and more source material. His predecessor's memories tell him a number of bone-forging manuals exist in this world, all with puffed-up claims and pitiful returns, but a carrier is all he needs, and the insufficient data can be filled by reading real-world accounts of Tendons transformation and marrow cleansing since Earth's history before the double R. Virus matches his prior worlds. Once he's discharged and behind a computer, both problems solve themselves, no rush. He closes his eyes on the hibernation method. 7,000-word instructions, going through the postures and breathing exactly as described, and in half an hour he sinks into an infant's sleep. An hour later he wakes startled, full of energy, internal pain faded. The panel shows hibernation. Method crystal meditation at B grade, beginner 1.1%, and his strength jumped from 2010 to 2021, over 10 kilos in 1 hour. His predecessor used to gain 10 kilos a day, and he absorbed for a full hour without saturating, something he needed guiding technique to match. He runs another round. 2 hours before saturation, 20 more kilos, growth rate unchanged, 3 hours of deep sleep absorption a day, 30 kilos a day, triple his pace without even touching guiding technique, and the hibernation method's compatibility feels perfect because that's what he ordered. Talk about custom, universality discarded, carved for this body alone. When the method advances stages, he'll be able to enter deep sleep anywhere, even while moving, which means guiding technique during absorption. And another dramatic jump. The doctor told him to rest. All he has to do is eat and meditate. He settles in and grinds. A week later, the panel reads: Strength 22, 64.58, hibernation method 34.85%. Spiritual wind 35.6, force 0.97, injuries clean, and today he's leaving. He crawls through the secret manual logic, the whole ride inside his head. Luo Feng's description of cultivating the 5 hearts hinges on a mind like still water. A deep sleep gets him there faster than any posture. The hibernation methods crystal visualization is just a specialized route to that exact same place, and because his system carved it out for him, the fit is absolutely frictionless. Whether the next tier of aptitude optimization will actually work remains to be seen, but incorrect. Carrier insufficient data sounds way more hopeful than completely unable to optimize. He spends his last morning testing customization, renaming display units, poking around to see what the optimizable items line will accept, asking it questions about itself. The panel answers every single question honestly. It cannot see the future, it only mirrors his state. That is fine. What it does is already enough to rewrite his entire life. On the 10th day, he checks out before Songjun can even rent a nearby room, grabbing the first ticket back to Jinling City. And they are moving before he is fully awake. On the train, Songjun keeps eyeing him and finally asks if he is truly fine or discharged too fast. He reassures his friend that the doctors cleared him. Staying in bed any longer would only rust his martial arts. His friend's face turns serious, asking whether he really still intends to walk this dangerous path. Of course he does, not just as a warrior, but war general, god of war, and far beyond into the vast universe itself. Songjun does not expect such massive ambition, but not wanting to crush a junior's will, he simply nods, warning him to stay grounded rather than overreaching. He just smiles, thanking his companion, who drifts into a fake nap while farmland outside the window gives way to massive city towers. Jinling City, one of Jianan Bay City's 8 satellite cities, has been his home since early childhood. Jinghu community sits right at its center. Armed guards stand at the gate, stopping their taxi. Song Jun pays the fare. They enter, and at the fork, he heads to his villa while the boy continues deeper to building 136, an 800-square-meter villa his father Jingyi left behind. The original host was used to this. He is not. Shaking off the strangeness, he promises himself a whole planet someday, then steps inside to shower, changes into loose loungewear, and heads straight for the second-floor audiovisual room. He logs into Limit Home through the wall-sized holographic console. His personal page shows beginner warrior level, 0 contribution points, and a balance of 935,000 yuan. Not much. This villa is half gifted and completely unsellable. He cannot afford a real secret manual or a good blade, but that is not why he came here. He searches for aptitude improvement, a dozen. Manuals pop up, quenching essence stake, 36 forms of bone forging, blood. Strengthening technique, tiger leopard thunder roar breathing method, all. Cheap, the priciest only 13,000. The whole lot costs 87,000. He buys them all and flips through them within half an hour just to feed the system data. He does not need to understand any of them. The system just needs data, then he pulls up historical records on tendons transformation and marrow cleansing, which are detailed and completely free. He opens the panel, optimize 36 forms of bone. Forging direction improve aptitude, shorten cultivation time, template. Tendons transformation classic and marrow cleansing classic, discard. Universality, estimated cost 1 slaughter point. He has 3 available. He confirms E-grade manuals cost 1, D-grade cost 2, C will probably cost 4. Following the doubling pattern, it will take 1 hour. When the timer runs out, the panel announces that 36 forms of bone forging has been optimized into the tendons transforming and marrow washing scripture, a C-class secret. Technique, this technique alters bone structure and cleanses the marrow, which boosts physical talent and cosmic energy absorption while improving combat technique comprehension and raising his brain domain width by 1, 2, 3 depending on mastery. This brain width, aside from bloodlines, which are universally bottom tier for Earthlings, making it a level playing field, is the direct measure of cultivation talent. Every single point separates him from millions of people. He asks the panel to display his 15, not high in cosmic terms, average on Earth, but better than he feared, and tendons transforming and marrow washing fully mastered will push it to 18. That beats 99.99% of Earth. Crucially, it allows him to open the elite passage of the number 9. Ancient civilization relic. This specific relic screens geniuses for the Yan Mo planet. Before Luo Feng, not even Hong or Thunder God could unlock the elite passage. Luo Feng made it through, obtaining a basic psychic type, secret technique, and a sky shuttle manual. A combat-focused fighter should emerge with martial arts rewards. It is the only cosmic tier technique he can acquire without leaving Earth. The relic still demands war god level strength, so that remains a distant plan. First, he cultivates. The manual is 5,000 characters detailing 3 interlocking methods. There are 12 extreme yoga postures, impossible for any untrained body, standing meditation breathing, and a medicinal bath where he must stand neck deep. The necessary herbs are common on limit home. He orders a 10-day supply, a deep enough bathtub, and a meal. Herbs cost 30,000, the tub 500, lunch 48. His balance is 817,852. Local delivery places everything at the community gate within an hour. He hauls it inside, pre-measuring 10 daily portions, brews today's batch, and eats while the pot simmers. Next, he enters the martial arts room upstairs to tackle the 12 postures. They are absolutely absurd positions he is not sure human bodies are meant to fold into, each requiring 30 seconds of gritted teeth and a quiet cry he cannot swallow. He hisses, grunts, and pushes forward until the alarm finally goes off an hour later. Whoever designed these, well, that was him through the system optimization. He cannot blame anyone else. He pours the boiling decoction into the tub of hot water, strips to shorts, lowers himself inside, and begins the standing meditation breathing. Painless, comfortable, and soothing. He feels himself slowly drift off, chest barely moving, when his eyes finally open. The water has gone cold and 3 hours have flown by. A deep sleep. Standing upright in a tub, he towels off, steps out, and opens the panel. Strength 2,265.63. Brain domain width 15. Hibernation method 35.85%. Tendons transforming and marrow washing scripture beginner 9.85%. Spiritual wind sword 35.65. Force 0.97, slaughter point 0, all that proficiency from one single day. He freezes halfway across the floor. The manual states bone reforging normally takes 100 days at standard speed. The more a cultivator compresses this time, the more perfect the transformation becomes, with 30 days being the absolute gold standard. Still, the manual never mentions. He calculates the shortcut if every hour of deep sleep standing meditation dumps directly into proficiency, then 11 days gets him from beginner to proficient and 30-odd days maxes it, 1 month to a 3-point brain domain breath. Outright, he will take 18 even without the bonus, and the remaining mystery how. Hong decades ago rated spiritual wind sword, only see despite its windborn intent can wait. He receives the tendons transforming and marrow washing content. In full through the panel, reads it through, and starts his cultivation. Schedule mornings, tendons transforming and marrow washing. Noon, the medicinal bath withstanding meditation. Afternoons, spiritual wind sword. Technique, evenings, guiding technique to exhaustion, then deep sleep too. Recover through the night. That first full day of cultivation ends with another 52 kilograms of strength, gains in every technique, spiritual wind up 3.4%, tendons transforming up 9.81, the panels. This visible progress is pure fuel. The sheer accomplishment completely outweighs the fatigue. He meditates instead of sleeping through the night, the hibernation method's proficiency ticking up alongside. In the courtyard, he practices spiritual wind sword in the evening breeze because the manual says. Wind aids the comprehension. The manual belongs to his own family, written by his grandfather Jin Hyondo during the Great Nirvana period, when he single-handedly slew monsters to shield the people. When the 2 great dojos were founded, he joined the dojo of limits and offered spiritual wind sword up to the cause. Hong rated it C but wrote a personal note praising its perception of wind and nature, noting that if more people could grasp its agile essence, the swordplay would have been ranked A. The note pushed sales, but buyers found they could not comprehend the wind essence no matter how they tried, and the book was branded a cheat. His grandfather fell in battle soon after, and spiritual wind sword technique was presumed lost until his father Jingyi rose as an initial beast general able to contend with high beast general monsters through it. This sparked renewed interest briefly, before the same comprehension wall killed the craze. Again, many still say the Chen family is holding back, but he knows from his predecessor's memories that Jingyi taught exactly what was sold, the real secret is something else, aptitude, brain domain, bloodline genes, and without slaughter points he cannot ask the system. For now he keeps grinding spiritual wind sword, while tendons transforming and hibernation do the heavy lifting. When he has slaughter points to spare, he will optimize it. This spiritual wind has 3 parts, sword play called spirit wind, footwork called flowing wind, and guiding technique called gale. This guiding technique is violent on purpose. The stronger the bodily stimulation, the better the effect. After 2 hours of drills, his body is spent, and he only then notices how lightly he had been moving. The more he practices, the less fatigue he registers. He runs the guiding technique next, hissing through its stimulation. Then lies down on the stone courtyard and drops into deep sleep. 2 hours later, he wakes under a bright moon to find he fell into deep sleep without meditating. The guiding technique seems to have replaced the meditation phase, all 3 techniques beginning to intertwine. That is great news. Each drags the others upward. His panel updates, showing his strength and tendons transforming. Marrow washing is up, and spiritual wind is also rising. His slaughter points are at 0, but he gained over 50 kilos today. The tendons transforming skill rises faster, feeding back into his own combat aptitude. If he reaches perfection in a month, he might become an advanced warrior. He decides that meditation will completely replace sleep from now on. It is far more productive and levels up his hibernation method too. On September 22nd, he follows his schedule perfectly, gaining another 52 kilos. Every technique levels up. The next day is identical. Then Song-jun calls. He forgot about their lunch invite. Yona quickly washes, dresses, and heads out. Arriving there, he finds that Song-jun is not the only one waiting for him. A 17-year-old high school girl with delicate features opens the front door. She has fair skin and a youthful face, but her brows are deeply furrowed. This is Song-jun's daughter, Song-wei, according to his predecessor's memories. Suddenly, a buried wave of the predecessor's old affection rushes into his mind. He reads those emotions like a stranger's diary. The previous soul really liked her. He never dared to approach, only following her around with silent hope. He placed her on a massive pedestal while looking down on himself, a simp basically. That explains why he always felt so inferior whenever he spoke with her father. Yona is incredibly relieved those old feelings cannot actually control him now. Her father expects Yona to hover, but he silently decides to do the opposite. Keep distance, avoid trouble. Right then, Song-wei glares right at him. Recalling her father's earlier advice, she watches him stand in the doorway. She snaps right at him, demanding to know why he is so late and still standing outside. That icy tone actually brings relief. Yona apologizes quickly without explaining a thing. He walks past her to sit down. Song-jun beams, calling him Yona. Yona is told to sit. Song-wei follows, expecting him to hover as usual. But when he completely ignores her, she finds this silence pretty offensive. Apparently, she secretly took pride in how devoted the former Yona was. Now here is the funny part. Song-jun completely misses the quiet tension. He wants to pair them up since Yona is so incredibly talented. Yona is the total package, tall, wealthy, handsome, and primed for marriage. Her father prepped her beforehand, but she secretly looks down on him. She hated how he used to simp, so this marriage idea triggers real resistance. Dinner is strange. Song-jun carries the conversation alone. Yona answers politely between bites, while Song-wei sits in cold silence. Halfway through, her father kicks her lightly under the table to behave. She relents, smiles suddenly, and asks if he got hospitalized in the wild. An iron fur boar apparently trashed him. Song-jun's face immediately darkens. She presses on, asking how an intermediate warrior could lose to a beast. Yona calmly agrees that yes, he is intermediate, smiling in self-deprecation. Lacking combat experience, he left an opening. He suggests she learn from it. His mistake, she can't keep pushing without losing face, so she quickly shifts tack. She sulkily brags about soon becoming a senior student at the dojo of Limit. At 17, reaching the purple light du tier makes her a proper warrior. He praises her. He congratulated her sincerely, a 17-year-old warrior, easily becoming a god of war. And his complete lack of reaction lights a short fuse. She presses even harder, announcing that the dojo will sign her to a special contract with 10 million in starting funds if she breaks through within a month. He says that is amazing. She stands halfway up to say something sharper. The bowl of her father clacks onto the table, cutting her off as he sternly tells her to sit down. She bites her lip, pushes her bowl away, says she is full, and leaves. Song-jun forces a smile and apologizes. He waves it off, the meal ending in silence as his appreciation of the dishes continues. He thanks him, declining his escort 3 times. But the man insists on seeing him to the door anyway. Walking back, he feels nothing. Regarding the whole exchange, Song-wei mocking him about the boar and her boasting about the contract was like an owl guarding a rotten mouse from a passing phoenix. Threatening squawks and all, his eyes are on the stars in the sea. He is not battling an owl over a mouse. He decides to make up the wasted time tonight and add hours to his schedule. That night, he drills 2 extra hours and goes to bed, which means meditation. Perhaps embarrassed over Song-wei, Song-jun does not contact him again for days. He is happier that way, sinking deeper into his routine, watching the panel numbers climb. there is one small interruption when Song Wei phones to tell him. She has broken through to Advanced Warrior and is about to take purple. Light due and officially become a martial artist. He congratulates her. Flatly, she hangs up in a rage and does not call again. Meanwhile, in a scene he pieced together later, Song Jun has just called his wilderness team to schedule a hunt and Song Wei has ambushed him to demand she join. He refuses, a beginner warrior who has not mastered 5 hearts towards the sky in the wilderness, is absurd to him, and when he calls her by her full name she flinches. He is really angry. She argues she is already an official martial artist, and she has mastered the first 3 levels of Thunder Blade through the half price first. Purchase discount at 10 million China yuan, so when she crosses into mid-level she will be stronger than him. The mention of Thunder Blade, Thunder God's secret manual, infamous for breaking geniuses, makes Song Jun nearly shout. 5 million for the first level alone is a fortune, and she has burned half her startup capital on 3 levels of something she might not even be able to learn. She insists the dojo instructor vouched for her saber talent and told her to use the first-time discount while she could, demanding to join the wilderness trip for the combat practice she will need. She clatters up the stairs. Before he can respond, he stands there, then picks up his phone and pushes the trip back without setting a new date. He knows nothing of that at the time. Mid-October finds him still on schedule. Song Wei during that stretch finally masters 5 hearts and does indeed gain 1,000 kilos on her first absorption, promoting straight to mid-level warrior and joining the team to the quiet delight of its several younger male members. Before joining, she makes one condition unknown to Song Jun, that she not be on the same team as him. The rest of the team, comparing the Thunder Blade, cultivating beauty with a C grade cultivating fool who cannot even win against a low beast soldier, unanimously agree to kick him out, which is how 2 black-uniformed advanced warriors end up. At his gate stand Yang Bao and Meng Mo. He greets them by name, matching them to his memories. Inviting them inside, Yang Bao stays at the gate, rigid, pressuring him, and demanding that he immediately withdraw from the wilderness team. He easily agrees, asking if they have told the captain yet. His sudden compliance breaks Yang Bao's tense stance. The guy relaxes, smiling, and suggests cultivating a bit longer to rejoin as an advanced warrior. He simply nods. He understands the situation. In truth, he has no intention of ever returning. His secret is far too dangerous to share with teammates. Walking away, Yang Bao mutters to Meng Mo that the kid agreed way too easily, sensing some mysterious depth he cannot grasp, suggesting they investigate him, but Meng Mo quickly snaps at him to drop it. They were only hired by Miss Song Wei to remove him. Mission accomplished. No need to cause problems. Yet, the gentle breeze carries their words straight back to the courtyard as the spiritual wind sword technique has sharpened his senses. For days, so it is Song Wei. Fine, that saves him the trouble of explaining to Song Jun he keeps training. By October 16th, the hibernation method clears the beginner rank, unlocking stage 2. On October 21st, the tendons transforming and marrow washing scripture reaches total perfection. In the washroom of Villa 136, the bathwater turns freezing cold and pitch black. His eyes snap open. He pulls himself out. As he twists his body, every single joint cracks loudly, as if his bones finally unfolded. Exactly 30 days, he rinses off and opens the system panel. Strength is over 4,000. Advanced warrior, brain domain breath is 19. Hibernation method is proficient. Tendons transforming and marrow washing scripture is complete. Aptitude up 30%. Genetic level up 10%. Brain domain breath up 4. Spiritual wind soared at 95. Force level is 1.3. His eyes widen. Brain domain is 19. Unbelievable. His strength was barely 3,800 yesterday. How on earth did it jump past 4,000? It is the genetic level line. He asks the system to explain, and it does. The Technique's baseline completion grants 10% more aptitude and 1 brain. Domain breadth, but because he achieved perfect transformation by compressing his cultivation into 30 days, a miracle, his hidden potential finally unlocks. A genetic leap of 10% and an extra brain domain point, his life genetic level ticks up to 1.1, even cosmic powerhouses who command the weather across the universe struggle to raise this. The benefits are massive, offering a permanent multiplier. To his strength, faster energy absorption, better comprehension, and eventually, better mastery over universal laws. 1 more day of slacking, and he would have missed it. The hibernation method upgrades, stage 2 deep sleep. Granting faster absorption is what pushed his daily transformation gains past 10%, securing the completion in under 30 days. He stares at the life genetic level line until his excitement settles, since his aptitude gains have finally plateaued. For now, it is time to gather slaughter points. He heads underground to open the heavy vault. Triple locks, keys, password, and fingerprint scans protect this 6 series alloy safe that nothing below a god of war could breach. Inside rests a flowing light A6 battle sword and a D7 series combat suit with only the trousers and vest intact, the rest long lost. His father Jing Ye left these behind. When the boy was 13, Jing Ye covered his teams, retreating against a small beast horde, dying all alone. When Song Jun returned at tremendous risk, he could only retrieve a shattered body. The sword and armor came back to him, locked away in a safe because his past self couldn't bear the sight of them. The past soul was sentimental. He is not. He refuses to let treasures gather dust, using them whenever the need arises. He buys the rest through the Limit Home network: tactical watch, backpack, boots, and arm guards, dried meat and plenty of water. Wild food is easy to hunt, water is not. The payment drops his balance to 4 digits, but fast delivery arrives in an hour. He suits up, he grabs his pack and leaves Jinghu community. The wild awaits. A train pulls into a military base, hundreds of kilometers north of Jian Nan, and he steps off with over 100 fully armed martial artists. Already splitting into preformed squads, he goes solo, no team, no backing down. He avoids resting at the base. Instead, he simply finds his direction and starts walking straight out toward the wilderness. A young man in a crisp military uniform jogs up with a professional, eager smile, offering to find a temporary squad for a 5% fee. Guaranteeing triple safety, just a broker. Our guy politely shakes his head. The man's eyes shrink the moment they land on the combat suit. His tone shifts completely. This is Manager Ju from the HR Alliance, and he quickly welcomes him to sell any monster loot through him for a great price. He hands over his card. He pockets it with a nod. He walks on. Behind him, Manager Ju mutters, wondering if someone in a level 7 combat suit is a god of war or warlord, ultimately deciding to trust his gut and avoid causing any offense. By dusk, the surrounding landscape grows desolate, and the very first monster silhouettes appear on the horizon. The first target he encounters is, quite fittingly, an iron fur boar. He smiles. What a massive coincidence. Tonight it is on. This guy, meaning pork, is on the menu tonight. He draws his flowing light blade. The boar charges. As an H-grade beast, it has 0 intelligence, clumsy, slow. In his past life, this creature almost killed him. Now it just looks clumsy and incredibly slow. Shifting his feet right before impact, he lets it pass, thrusting straight through its skull. 1 point gained. The heavy corpse slides right past on its own momentum, collapsing a dozen meters away. That was the beast he worried about for so long. Seriously, it is shockingly weak compared to memory. The old obsession in his chest simply vanishes. He keeps heading deeper. Darkness falls. Ambush predators emerge, and he cuts down a shadow cat mid-pounce. Never slowing down. More monsters, more quick kills. None can match him. By midnight, he stands outside a ruined town as dark figures emerge from the wreckage. 18 tiger mastiffs, boasting spotted fur and powerful, streamlined bodies. These elementary beast soldiers are led by 3 larger, intermediate-level alphas. They slowly circle him without charging, clearly unsettled by the heavy scent of monster blood he carries from tonight's slaughter. He pulls up his status panel. Wind sword, swordplay 99, guiding 99, footwork 91, these 3 skills form one body, but his lagging footwork keeps him stuck at this annoying bottleneck. He has 87 slaughter points, if the hidden secrets of the spiritual wind sword technique weren't hovering just out of reach, he would already optimize it, ever since his guiding level hit 99.99. True proficiency is the real starting point, a sharp premonition. Flashes as swordplay maxes out, now only footwork remains. And right before him are 18 perfect sparring partners. He won't wait. He charges straight ahead with absolutely zero hesitation, targeting their massive intermediate leader. A colossal spotted beast, his blade slices a massive chunk out of its front paw before it can move. Blood sheets down as it roars. The entire pack swarms him, surrounded by enemies he cannot let them close. The ring, sliding sideways at a bizarre angle, he cleanly evades a heavy pounce. His blade flicks straight through an exposed throat, another quick turn of the body sends a backhand sweep through 3 more leaping beasts. A crescent of blood paints the night. For a brief moment, he weaves through them like smoke. Every single thrust is fatal. With 6 down, the 3 leaders stop waiting. They roar and charge together as the pack tightens around him in a tight formation. The leaders are massive. His blade shakes violently against their claws. In the scramble, several claws get past his defense. His 7 series suit protects him, but any exposed skin means instant death. He refuses to panic. He breathes out, concentrates, and lets his senses expand. The feeling of moving air around him becomes incredibly sharp. He feels every incoming strike. His body slips away like he already saw it happen. Blade work and movement seamlessly stitched together. On the status panel, his movement progress bar is rising rapidly. Over half the pack dies. Terror finally takes over the survivors. The 3 leaders roar a retreat, and the remaining beasts tuck their tails and run, but he feels a breakthrough coming. He won't let them escape. He pursues, cutting them down from behind, forcing the leaders to turn. The slaughter enrages the surviving beasts past fear. They turn like a wave and throw themselves at him with absolute madness in their eyes. He steps right into the middle. This intense pressure is exactly what he wanted. Right here he finds inspiration. His movement stops being 3 separate steps and becomes a single rhythm. He flows within. The breeze is no longer just weather. It becomes solid support. Wind, the secret of this technique is intent itself, Earth's martial arts. Tiers rank from basic to intent. His predecessor and everyone who bought the manual only practiced basic, but the true technique begins at intent. Expert Hong saw this when rating it rank C, writing a note about its hidden rank of potential. He lets the wind take him. His speed surges by 50%. A beast's throat opens before he even realizes he drew, drawing speed up 70%. He slaughters the rest. When the 3 leaders launch a final suicidal charge, he drifts past them at a speed their eyes cannot track. All 3 hit the cold ground with bloody holes through their skulls. His flowing light blade is spotless. The panel shows spiritual wind sword technique, a class proficient at 5.98%. The old substats reset completely. This is true intent mastery. The next step is optimization. This new spiritual wind form is terrifying but exhausting to master. Worst of all, it lacks a proper force exertion technique. The multiplier is still stuck at 1.3. He realizes the true core is wind intent. Only the core matters. The system will handle the rest. He directly optimizes his spiritual wind sword play. Focus strictly on sheer force. Forget all versatility. Cost 16 points. It doubles every single tier, exactly as he expected. Taking down 3 leaders secured him 125 points, he confirms. A 15-hour timer begins. He grabs his blade and slips into the night. Hour after hour, he hunts tirelessly through County 247. He grabs a quick sleep in ruins, absorbing raw cosmic energy. Dawn breaks, his hibernation proficiency is at 25.67. Hurricane sword play hits 4.65, total points 583. Only 30 minutes of optimization remain. He has slaughtered over 100 beasts tonight. But this town is running dry. He lights a fire in a quiet, abandoned room. Roasting a skewered chunk of beast meat, he waits out the final seconds. It is done. The upgraded spiritual wind sword technique is currently unnamed. Usually his memories provide the names, but this time there is absolutely nothing. The system has rebuilt this entirely under the brutal laws of the Swallowed Star. It earns an ultimate rating, boasting 6 distinct and massive effects. Massive boosts to movement speed, sword draws, and reaction times. Premature wind intent mastery accelerates every single sub-intent style. His physical limit hits 5, helping him grasp unity of heaven and man. At absolute perfection, it unlocks domain comprehension and wind law affinity. He reads the secrets for 30 minutes, then closes his eyes to absorb it. A sudden truth hits him. The Chen family bloodline is special. Their genes carry a hidden code that naturally aligns with the wind. This is why Qiang Dao could force a basic manual up to grade A. It explains how his father Jingyi could trade blows with high beast generals. He fought them off as a mere initial beast general himself. And it explains why outsiders could never master this technique. Even the legendary Hong only rated it low because of that family lock. The ceiling was genetic, but these last 2 effects shatter that barrier. An ordinary C-grade manual, custom-fitted to his unique bloodline, has totally transformed. He has forged a path that can literally help him touch domain and cosmic law. The technique is named Hurricane Sword Play because speed is everything. At perfect mastery, his incredible drawing and movement speeds will double once again. This adds directly onto his prior 70 and 50% bonuses. Even his neural reaction speed is going to jump up by 2 whole tiers. Since wind intent is already mastered, the system automatically labels him proficient. Without it, he would be starting as a total beginner. He wipes the proficient tag. He is going to build this right. Dousing the fire, he steps out for days of pure, brutal slaughter. Across County 247, he slays every single beast in sight. He feeds on monster meat, resting in ruins to absorb cosmic energy. 5 days and nights go by in a blur of blood and cultivation. By the end, he has put over 2,000 beasts in the dirt. Because that is his limit, the blood soaked into his clothes now broadcasts. Danger for kilometers, making all intelligent monsters simply flee. What remains are either dull-nosed or overly confident, and none of them leave. County 247 is too small to hold beast general monsters in. Any serious numbers, the ceiling here is beast soldiers. On the morning after the 5th night, he wakes and checks his panel. Strength is 4712. Speed 102 meters. Hibernation proficient. Hurricane sword play is proficient. Subtle conception force. Exertion level 2. Slaughter points exceed 8,000. The breakthrough happened during last night's final pack fight. A casual test swing tells him. His sword speed jumped another 30% and movement should match, stacked on. The multiplier, his peak speed hits 198. For an advanced warrior whose baseline is 60, that is insane. It already beats a middle-level war general's clean speed. Force exertion plus intent brings a qualitative change that makes him invincible among his peers, but the force exertion stacks hidden strength. Thunder blade layers 0.7 times each tier. Hurricane sword play does not stack that way. Its force technique is all about deeper body control, activating muscle groups he cannot normally reach. This allows each sword stroke to recruit far more fibers, a completely different principle. One piles up strength, while the other unlocks what is already there. He remembers that when Thunder God first saw the Yunmo planet martial artist manual, he lamented that he was wrong. Maybe the stacking path is the incorrect path. Maybe true force exertion is pure body control, the original author wrote about this explicitly in his later novel, Cosmic Professional Player, where cosmic martial artists control their power by linking consciousness to their cells. It is the same core across different worlds, so Hurricane Sword Play is on the right track. The 5 times cap just reflects how little data. On this approach, he fed the system. More data means a higher ceiling, and we're better to get that data than the number 9 ancient civilization relic, whose martial reward will surely include detailed force exertion teachings. This legendary relic jumps up his priority list, even if he cannot enter it until reaching War God level. For now, 5 times is more than enough to run rampant below planetary level. Before he leaves the county, he has one final debt to settle. He walks to the southeast to a long abandoned manor ranch he explored days ago and was forced to flee from. His only setback in this place, a pack of over 100 lion mastiffs holds the ranch, and their leader is an intermediate beast general weighing 16,000 kilograms and being a power type probably 20,000. His own peak force is 9,400, barely half. Last time he only escaped because the giant lion mastiff lacked speed. This time is different. He stands on a rise, looking down at the ranch, an intermediate beast. General Lion Mastiff would outclass him 4 times over, and only his family heirloom, a 6-blade, has any hope of breaking its tough hide. But with Hurricane Swordplay proficient, his max speed has gone up to 180, while the Lion Mastiff leader runs at only 120. This gap is decisive. The core of Hurricane Swordplay is speed, and combined with his wind-intent sword draw, it kills. Across rank, it strikes fold in the spiritual wind's agility, making his movement technique is built for dodging. Group fights are his element. Under his current parameters, he could annihilate a beginner-led pack. Beast General, in fact, the city's only Beast General, is a Lion Mastiff leader, and its fatal weakness is speed, a perfect match for his agility. Besides, the Beast Soldier tier monsters he has been grinding aren't pushing him. His Hurricane Swordplay hard enough. On day 1, he gained 30% proficiency, and after 5 days of fighting, he has only crawled into proficient. Combat techniques need fierce combat to grow. This pack is his Hurricane Swordplay's final training ground. Here, he charges straight in. The pack's first pounce is met with a sword draw, taking 5 or 6 dogs down in seconds before they even form up. The leader roars from the back. It recognizes him, the exact human who trespassed days ago, massacred its pack, and escaped untouched. It has learned this time it stays back, ordering the pack to hem him in and exhaust him, planning to finish him when his movement's slow. But get this, his hibernation method has reached the second stage. In the Star River Emperor's framework, that means whole body vitality, not just muscle, but organ, bone, blood, and brain. Every system evolved in one pass. In terms of stamina, he already outmatches an advanced warrior, easily trading with a war general. To exhaust him, the leader would need triple the dogs he has. He weaves through the pack like a ghost, killing cleanly while the leader sits and watches, waiting for a dent in his pace. That never comes. When 70% of his subordinates are on the ground, he finally breaks and charges him himself, and he turns and sprints through the ruins of the city he chases. His speed slows deliberately, just enough to keep him in pursuit, and the beast catches the scent of victory. All that sacrifice was setting him up for exhaustion, and now the final stage pays off. 1 man, 1 beast. Carved from the southeast of the county to the northwest, almost the whole length of the town, until he stops in the old ruins where he first met Tiger Mastiff dogs, the leader's burial ground chosen in advance. He leads it to the top of a collapsed wall and waits. the beast arrives in a cloud of dust, charging straight through the ruins like a tank, and he jumps aside and aside again while it rumbles past each time, unable to turn in the tangled rubble, at full speed. Lion mastiffs are only 30 meters per second behind a human martial artist of their tier, but they have to build that up over distance, and they're instantaneous. Burst is much worse. He chose this maze because its mass works against it here. Every leap for him, every stagger for the beast. It slows, pacing in confusion. And he sees its not very clever brain working through what he is doing, and he sees the realization land. This human intends to kill it. Disbelief then. Unease, it turns to leave. Too late. Face the storm. He holds back a trick he has been suppressing all night, the double force exertion, and he drops off the wall. At the edge of its range, and the flowing light blade goes through its back behind the neck before it turns completely. A double burst sunk into the strike. He kicks off the beast and clears range in a couple of leaps, sword back in hand. It roars in furious pain, eyes blood-red, and charges him blindly, and he runs it back through the dog-walk pattern, opening holes in its hide every time it overcommits, until blood loss starts slowing it down for real. When his movements slow down to a crawl, he leaps off a wall, kicking high into the air, driving his blade two-handed straight into the skull. And out the other side, 42 points secured, the body slides into the dust. He quickly confirms the kill, leans against its side, and falls deep asleep. Fighting a beast horde and running a city all night left him exhausted, especially after slaying an intermediate beast general. An hour later, he wakes up completely recovered. He carves out the valuable fangs and returns to the manor to wipe out the remaining pack. They never even left, facing the exact same fate. He sweeps the area for loot, because a true hunter never leaves empty-handed. He tracks the path the leader took, heading deep into a dense, dark forest. Suddenly, something lashes out from behind. Whip fast. His sharp senses detect it just in time to dodge. He spins, expecting a hidden martial artist, but only finds a massive willow tree, 20 meters tall with a thick trunk. Its thousands of slender branches swaying in the completely still air. This is no ordinary willow demon. He knows exactly what this is: a grass and wood spirit, a millennial willow hardwood, the legendary Luo Feng 8-1 in the novel. To jump from initial god of war to intermediate war god, releasing the dark golden sphere in his head to become a peak war god mental power master. Its essence directly boosts cellular activity and physical power. He checks limit home on his wrist, with the Earth Trio in charge. The forum now shares public entries on these treasures, and the pictures confirm it, though the size is off. A true millennial willow exceeds 30 meters. With a meter-thick trunk, this one is under 20 meters, likely 5 to 800 years old. Younger specimens offer limited benefits to supreme war gods, making them perfect for war generals, which is exactly his current rank. Guides note that a willow old enough to yield hardwood boasts serious attack power, potentially reaching war god tier. Luckily, these branches are closer to initial war general level, but with over 1,000 branches, any creature stepping close gets blasted by all of them at once. No wonder that giant lion mastiff leader kept his territory here, never biting off more than he could chew. Good, he will eat it instead. The tree cannot move. Though branches are dangerous, the trunk is helpless. He darts in, slicing 4 or 5 branches in a pass before retreating ahead of the deadly swarm. The tree thrashes in fury. He does it again and again. An hour and a half later, the giant crown is completely bare. He pivots to the trunk with his A6 blade and double force, chipping away steadily. After 2 hours, the massive trunk topples in a storm of splinters. A glowing green catches his eye in the wreckage, an egg-sized crystal. Liquid ripples inside, feeling cool against his palm, the essence of the hardwood. He carries it to an abandoned basement and draws his expensive A6 dagger. Designed specifically for monster materials, he stabs the shell twice, and the third Strike cracks it open, revealing 30 milliliters of green liquid. He quickly drinks it in one gulp. An incredibly soothing, soul-shaking warmth washes over him, and inside his body, the essence dissolves into every cell, like a small sapling growing into a towering tree. An absolute transformation. Cells leap, genes refine, bones strengthen. Muscles reorganize as his strength column climbs past 4,700 to over 5,000, then 7,500. Reaching 9,600, the speed slowing. Over 14,000 kilograms. Within 2 hours, he goes from advanced warrior to peak war general, almost at middle level. Under the moonlight, he stares. Even a millennial willow can do this. Honestly, the resources in this world are just a cheat code. No wonder the virtual universe company tells its geniuses not to waste time on grinding cosmic energy, telling them to focus on law comprehension and secret techniques. Resources build strength, freeing up a genius to focus on ranks, leaving their free time for techniques. He feels a momentary stab of envy for Luo Feng, resting easily inside the virtual universe company while raising stats on autopilot, but he quickly catches this weak thought and realizes his mind is wavering. This meditation method is a will cultivation. Art from Star River Emperor. He only recently became completely unshakable. Yet the first taste of sweet resources already pulled him off balance. The mind is a mirror that needs constant polish, letting himself settle, he thinks. Through his plan, resources that raise raw strength without limiting future potential are items he should take. Potions that limit potential, never. He will never touch Earth's genetic potions, no matter the offer. His next goal is securing a slot in the elite training camp and a contract with the dojo of limits. Following Luo Feng's path. Years ago, that spot required being a war general because 20 years ago, it was still called the God of War Reserve Camp. Now, it trains planetary-level reserves, and that old God of War title belongs to the basic training camp instead. Even Luo Feng back in his day had to clear a B-level test to get in. He might face the same. What he wants from that contract is dragon blood, clean strength with absolutely zero cost to his potential. It costs 80 billion even at the half-price internal rate, only possible with proper qualifications. The simplest route is the camp, but his current level is not stable, still 1,300 short of middle level. He decides on 1 month of maximum effort to reach middle level, polish his hurricane swordplay, and boost force exertion. It is currently only 2 times lower than Luo Feng's at this stage. But he has only trained for a month, whereas Luo Feng had 6. Then back to Jinling, refilling his water at a spring and washing off the grime. He walks deeper into the wilderness. 1 month quickly disappears, deep in the wild in a prefecture level city 067. He spends his afternoon against a lord level fire scale 3 halberd pig, 10 meters tall, red scaled, with 3 curved horns like a trident. It charges at supersonic speed. His flowing light blade can barely scratch its armor. Standing under 2 meters tall, he is like grass next to it. He weaves around the beast by mere centimeters because a single trident strike through his 7 series armor vest would finish him. Finally, finding an opening, he explodes past 900 meters per second, leaps onto the head, and drives the blade with 3.2 times force straight into its eye socket. The beast stomps in chaos as it finally dies. He lets go of the sword, pulling clear of the thrashing as the massive body crashes. Sighs as he retrieves his blade. The edge is completely chipped and basically ruined. 6 is not enough against a lord-level fire scale, but taking 1 as a mid-level war general is perfect. To wrap up the month, he opens his system panel to check his progress. His strength is 17,000 kilograms, mid-level general, life gene. Brain width 19, neural reaction is junior god of war level, speed 240 per second, theoretical limit 979, hibernation method major achievement. At 6.58, he unlocks stage 3, sleepwalking, allowing deep sleep. He recovers while practicing his swordplay and his daily strength gain. Jumped from 80 to over 120 kilograms overnight. That is 3,000. In a month, Hurricane Swordplay Major Achievement 10.46, Speed Amplified. 70%, Neural Reaction up 1 rank, Force Exertion 3.2. Slaughter points exceed 40,000 after killing thousands of beast soldiers. Over 300 warlords and 1 lord. Ultimate is not a generous rating. Compared to Thunder Blade and World Ending, Hurricane Force Exertion is mediocre. Its ceiling is low, but what it has uniquely is speed, a mid-level war. General base speed is 160. With Wind Intent, he hits 240. With Major Achievement, the passive ceiling is 408. Force is 3.2. Pushing his theoretical limit to 979. Realistically, it is over 900. A high-level war god bases at 600, hitting 1,300 meters per second. Realistically, junior and intermediate war gods average only 2 times force, so at an intermediate base of 460, their limit is far below his. Ultimate is earned. This extreme speed is why a mid-level war general can slay a junior lord, but he can feel the next plateau. Once his techniques hit perfection, his daily gains will lock and stop compounding. He must optimize new manuals before that happens. He is confident he can reach planetary level through hard cultivation alone, but climbing from 22,000 kilograms to the apprentice peak is tough. At his current rate, that would take 11 years. The latter is terrifyingly exponential. Luo Feng beat the apprentice rank using dragon blood, grass and wood spirits, and power. His daily cultivation currently beats what Luo Feng did back then, but that does not help because Luo Feng did not win through daily cultivation. He needs dragon blood and more manuals to feed his optimization system. Hurricane Swordplay is incredibly strong, but it only offers speed. A 5 times force cap is mediocre next to other ultimates he must buy. Widely feed the system data and optimize something deeper after 2 hours cutting. The fire scale's valuable red scales and trident horn he packs. A massive bag larger than himself and walks 3 days back out at the base. Manager Ju is waiting at the gate, sharply dressed, turning away squads all morning. He tells them to contact Manager Lei instead, claiming he has an important client. The other squads think he has hit the jackpot. Ju is not sure. His certainty has been bleeding out because they only met for 30 seconds before. A month ago, and he only inferred his strength from his high-end equipment. As noon crawls closer, Ju rehearses a damage control speech for his bosses. In case he is wrong, but when he finally spots his client, he lights up, trots over with a professional smile, and welcomes Jin Shen back. Welcoming him back from the dangerous wilderness with open arms. Jin Shen apologizes for the delay, explaining he ran into a tiger mastiff pack. Nothing bad, just slow. The clerk notices the materials on his pack. Unmistakable beast general parts, and his initial nervous tension completely fades away. He is convinced the young man is a total powerhouse, handing him a VIP card. It is for a private villa nearby, telling him to rest for an hour. He gladly takes the hour. A month out in the wild leaves anyone filthy. Luckily, the host left a clean set of clothes waiting in the bathroom. After washing up, he calls him over, and the manager arrives within minutes. He lives right next door. The kid dumps the beast loot on the floor. The manager starts scanning them, desperately trying to maintain a professional face. Over 100 pieces, with not a single low-level beast general in sight. They are all intermediate and high tier. In his head, he does the math. How many beasts did this lone kid hunt down in just 1 month? He must have been fighting 24 hours a day to get this much. It seems impossible, but the proof is right here. He delivers the total. 178 pieces total, with intermediate and 48 high-grade parts. Rounding up, it is 7.5 billion, but the boy notes that feels low. He remembers intermediate parts, going for 10 million each in the past. But the manager does not panic. His data is current, while the kid's is old. It is 20 years old. With space trade routine, they do not forge gear. Instead, they are exporting these materials to other planets. They are sold as Earth specialties, meaning rarity determines the final price. Not pure quality, common beast parts have dropped 30 to 50%. Low tier drops 70%, while Lord and King level materials have climbed. He shares the private market website to prove his point. The kid checks and sees the man is actually being quite generous. He agrees to 7.5 billion, then points to one last pile. He asks to price those separately, revealing heavy scales and a single horn. It is from a fire scale boar. The scanner confirms a lord-level beast. The manager looks up, completely reevaluating the young man standing before him. He begins calculating. Fire scale is highly prized among initial lord beasts. The rate is up to 2.8 billion, and he offers the maximum. Making the total 10.3 billion, the transfer is sent instantly. The money arrives in seconds. Staff members show up to move the crates. However, two small monster parts are left behind on the floor. They are simple mid-level general pieces, kept to officially prove his rank. The manager curiously asks which high-ranking lord he is saving those for. Lord, no, not at all. These are just for his official promotion. The manager freezes, trying to process this. He leaves him in shock. He hops onto a 3-hour train to Jinling, heading straight home. He takes a cab directly to the Jinghu Community Center. He approaches the massive 9-story Limits Branch dojo, a place he has never entered. He has never stepped inside before, as rookie testing is usually done. At his high school, but today is different, he walks inside. A young receptionist greets him at the desk, asking how she can help. He is here to trade 2 materials and request an official combat assessment. The receptionist leads him right into the elevator, up to the 6th floor, knocks on an office door, and introduces him as Xiao to Sister Yu inside. Hearing that little childhood nickname hits him pretty hard, stirring up some quiet memories, but the receptionist doesn't notice. Sister Yu is busy typing away. Xiao quietly places 2 beast parts on her desk, and she looks up, startled, and asks if these are beast general materials. He quietly nods. They are for his middle-level war general assessment, he says, reading out his martial artist ID. Sister Yu pulls up his profile, and then she completely freezes. According to his record, he only became an official warrior this past June. November, 6 months from rookie to middle-level war general. Talk about fast progress, her face says it all. She only asks if he is sure. He gives a quick nod, telling her to certify everything and purchase the materials. That is his plan. 19-year-old middle-level general, showing up in Jinling with beast general trophies, is bound to get reported upward. She grabs her tools, scans the items, logging his data. Total is 6.6 million yuan plus 3,400. Contribution points. The dojo pays 2/3 cash, the rest as points. His balance updates to 10.3 billion yuan. He asks if he can train on the 2nd floor. She answers that the 2nd through 4th floors are public training grounds for all martial artists. All right, he says. He will head to the 2nd. He walks out as deliberately loud as possible. As soon as the door closes, Sister Yu immediately picks up the phone to dial. Meanwhile, the 2nd floor is a massive training hall packed with every testing machine imaginable, but Xiaoe does not train. Instead, he sits down and feeds a C-rank manual into his system as a data feed. He spends 9.5 hours reading, buying the next volume every time. He does not need to understand or even remember it. His system handles all the data. Suddenly, the elevator dings and 2 people step out. It is not the dojo master, though. They are Sangwei and Yang Bayam. She gasps in surprise while he calmly says he is just waiting for someone. Yang Bayam spots his empty backpack on the floor and his watch, and guesses he just got back from the wilderness. Sangwei smiles, asking how his trip went. She assumes he failed to find a team and came back hoping to interview for. One, he gives a brief, indifferent reply and keeps reading, which annoys Yang Baeum, who secretly views him as a rival. He urges her to start training, but she says wait. A moment he would never notice her without her demanding it. She tells him she is an intermediate warrior now, fighting on her father's team, specifically hoping that he will understand why he was replaced. He just grunts, but she needles him for still practicing a C-grade manual, saying he should get a real technique, so he stops wasting effort on wild boars, bragging that the thunder blade she now practices helped her defeat several beast soldiers in the wilderness this month. He looks up at her words. Thunder blade is the thunder god's manual. Both that and world ending are in his optimization plan for his own hurricane sword play. Soon he can only buy a few levels of data, though. He asks her which tier of the thunder blade's hidden force she has reached. She freezes because the answer is 0. She wouldn't be here drilling with a training partner if she had. Her embarrassment quickly turns to rage, but before she can snap, a voice calls his name. His real guest has arrived, a buzz-cut, square-faced military name steps across the hall, a real heavyweight, buzz-cut, square face and military vibe. A middle-aged man, Wang Tai, master of the Jinling branch, comes rushing over. He approaches with zero dojo master dignity, thrilled by what Sister Yu reported. He is openly excited. Sangwei hisses at the instructor as Yang Baeum stares. Wang Tai reaches him, demanding to know if his newly assessed strength is real. Of course, he replies, pointing toward the punch strength testing machine nearby. We can test it now. The master nods, terrified the boy will change his mind. With an arched back, his clean punch lands. The screen rapidly climbs and settles at 17,792 kilograms. A middle-level war general, Wang Tai beams as Sangwei and Yang Baeum stand staring. If this is real, her entire attitude toward him was a clownish routine. She whirls on Yang Baeum, demanding to know why he claimed the boy could not even beat an iron fur boar. Her tone is pure accusation. He stammers, no longer sure his memory matches the person who hit that massive number. She snorts and walks out, and he follows, silent and lost. Nobody notices them leave. Wang Tai immediately requests the speed and neural tests. Next, the speed is 163 meters per second, with perfect neural reaction. For a general, excellent for a warrior, showing just enough for the report. The master glows. He will report to Jiangnan Main Hall, and the boy must go along to demonstrate his power. He asks directly if the elite slot is guaranteed now. The master cannot promise. A 19-year-old middle-level war general is rare, but the headquarters also weighs actual combat experience and secret technique cultivation, and the boy's registered C grade does not help his case. The boy tells him to add that his force exertion level is over 2 times. The master's eyes widen. The boy walks back to the punch target, takes a breath, and hits it with 2 times force. Kilograms. The master runs to read the screen and gasps. Wang Tai himself is a high-level general with a mediocre 1.3 multiplier. The boy's peak is almost at his level. He pulls out his phone, typing a message quickly. Within 30 seconds, Jiangnan headquarters calls back, completely losing their minds. He confirms he saw it with his own eyes, hanging up absolutely radiant. Tomorrow morning, President Zhou will meet them in Jiangnan City. Perform well. In the slot he secures, the boy nods. Early next morning, they take the train. Arriving in Jiangnan's urban core, they find the main hall packed with people. Wang Tai rubs his eyes and jogs over with the boy, greeting the leaders. Supervisor Zhuge is there, while President Zhou Jiangyang nods silently. Supervisor Zhuge Tao, who once invested in Lu Feng, smiles warmly at him. He tells him to wait, as a very important person is arriving soon. He must perform well. Wang Tai lanes in and fawns over Zhuge Tao. He complains he was not briefed, but Zhuge explains the report went up. Last night, it went up to the inspector, a powerful man named Wei. Inspector Wei decided to come down. Zhu sharply warns Wang Tai to show respect. Respect, Inspector Wei does not ring a bell from the novel's original plot, only. Lu Aofeng held the inspector role there. Inspectors are the regional warlords, with absolute regional authority, easily able to dismiss even supervisors. 20 years ago, they required peak god of war, now even higher. Planetary level, since even President Zhou is planetary, but this city belongs to Lu. Since this is Ao Feng's hometown, no inspector dares cause trouble. Jin Yan is relaxed. Just 30 minutes later, a dark blue saucer fighter appears in the sky and descends toward the waiting crowd. The hatch opens, and a young man floats down. He looks to be in his late 20s, wearing sportswear with an almost shy smile. Without that advanced smart fighter, he would easily pass for a fresh college graduate. He completely lacks the heavy presence of high authority. Waving both hands, he complains, while nearly blushing, that he specifically requested no formal greeting for his arrival. President Zhou quickly protests, but the guest waves it away with clear embarrassment. Then his eyes lock onto Jin Yan and light up instantly. He walks over to inspect him. He notes that he must be Jin Yan, the genius President Zhou recommended. He compares his calm temperament to Ao Feng's, though Ao Feng is much wilder. It is a striking similarity nonetheless. The name Lu Ao Feng instantly rings a bell. Connecting the dots, Jin Yan asks directly if the inspector is indeed Wei Wen. He blinks and laughs, amused that he is recognized as Lu Ao Feng's best friend. Jin Yan explains he heard Lu Ao Feng had a friend named Wei Wen, and pieced together the details from the surname and the nickname Ah Feng. The inspector scratches his head, letting it slide, and mentions hearing about Jin Yan yesterday from President Zhou, which is why he decided to come visit personally. If the testing goes well, he promises to secure the elite training camp slot himself. While there might be a favor involved, Jin Yan cannot afford to be careless now. Knowing from the novel that Wei Wen is a trustworthy man, Jin Yan agrees. Once inside, Jin Yan decides to reveal more of his hidden talent than planned. His first punch registers 17,910 kilograms. The second hits 53,730 kilograms, leaving Wang Tai in shock. Wei Wen nods in approval as the first speed test clocks 163 meters per second. When Jin Yan requests a second run, the room buzzes with curiosity. President Zhou marvels at how force exertion is perfectly integrated into movement technique. The second sprint triggers a sonic boom, registering 366 meters per second. Zhu Tao notes that Jin Yan has applied triple force to his movement. It is an advanced skill that even many gods of war struggle to master. Wei Wen nods approvingly, yet his brow furrows slightly with lingering dissatisfaction. His neural reaction returns full marks at the middle-level war general tier. Though everyone else is celebrating, Jin Yan can tell the inspector is not fully convinced. So he offers to perform a third, untested speed trial, instantly piquing Wei Wen's interest. Jin Yan unleashes wind intent, pushing the speed to 550 meters per second. The crowd falls dead silent, whispering about the sheer depth of his elemental intent. Wei Wen claps with a wide, satisfied grin, completely sold on Jin Yan's genius. He promises to submit the application directly to global headquarters himself. This bypasses the long local queue, making his spot in the elite camp guaranteed. He invites Jin Yan back to Young Zhou, offering him a place to stay. The invitation is unexpected, making it clear that Wei Wen wants a favor. But since he announced it in a public hall, it is likely safe. Jin Yan nods, and the inspector's shoulders visibly relax as they walk outside. The smart fighter glides down, and they board before soaring toward Young Zhou. The elevator drops him down to the second-floor public cultivation room. The space spans the entire level, vast and packed with training gear. He drifts over to a quiet corner and sits, because he isn't here to cultivate, he is only here to wait, knowing manager use already called the chief instructor the moment he left the 6th floor. and he expects Wang. Tai is already on his way. To pass time, he opens his communication watch, logging into the Limit Home Mall, purchasing a Class C Creaker manual, then another. And another, flipping through them in minutes. He doesn't even need to understand or even remember a thing, because his optimization system silently swallows every page as raw data for future refinement. The faster he burns through these cheap manuals, the more raw material his system gets to utilize. By the time he is on his 9th manual, half an hour passes, and the elevator finally chimes.